State is Wednesday, July 21st. Yes, July 21st. We're here in the Navajo Nation Council chambers. And we are here during the Navajo Nation Council summer session. And I just want to say thank you to everybody joining us this morning on Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, and everybody that's listening. Good morning to our president, Jonathan Nez, our vice president, Myron Leiser, our Chief Justice, Joanne Jane, and to all our Navajo Nation employees, all our Navajo people within the Four Sacred Mountains and outside as well, and all our active military that are abroad over the big seas, over the big waters. Thank you very much. I know we have some of you are listening in this morning too as well. We're going to start off this morning to do a recognition. And we usually do these recognitions in person, but unfortunately, due to the fact that we're still coming out of this pandemic of COVID-19, we are still going to try to make sure we're following everything that we can in order to make sure everyone's safe, not only here in the chambers, but they're in agreement to meeting some of the requirements of CDC guidelines. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the floor over now to Honorable Keon Begay. Good morning, Che. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and then actually, are we going to play a video first, and then we'll turn over the floor? What are we doing here? Let me go to Honorable Keon Begay first, and then we'll go from there. Che, Honorable Keon Begay, floor is yours.
Yeah, it's Che.
Oh.
Speaker to the Fourth Navajo Nation Council. And Kodota is not Sagito, Adosik age, Nanosini. Yat Benin Hidini, Dolis, Ado Kodoshi is Shenginigi, Nahos Aki, Yahab, Shido de Kodona Kid Ego, Nahachin and Denigi, she Bahatolzi, Benya Kodo, Benyan Hita, Niad, Listo, Kodo, Hit Ashin, Kodo Bananas, Yosen, a cocoa, Hatina, sheet up in Tahatolzi, hot industry. Could we go ahead and do the run the video first and then come back to me?
Oh,
Speaker.
Yes, we can do that. Dan, Starby.
Yat esk edos at night could okay on the junior Hanagan need an strong only eight as but I need us to say other dish chile that's another Eslago Asahanda, but had the Shaki Elo Mount, Touchy Blue Gap, Salana Calvin, Nazlini, Ado many farms. A call Kodo, these shingle, Bishbans, Ania Hanacha, Haki Kodoya Hananiche. A call AC Benya Kodosha Ho, A Kodo, Naketel Egg on Hashin and Diniki, A Kodope. The users don't recognize the technique of the Ekotoshin Haho at the Lishik N of Senegi. A coadina, she up in his at their halls if the Lish Quack. A coco Kodo, Nasan, Adon Hikayati, Ado Kodon and set Toti, no Kodo A by Yale, Lishik N of Senegi. A cocodon has Trinity at Beldi Hiki, A she arch bananas, a your son, hate Ego Kodo. The nan liniki other Washington the Yane Kayan Lini Yan Saki so she quack a Kodon ya quack a about easy to Lishik N of Senegi a call Kodot Ashon it on hit me don't hit the shna Kayan Lini Yegon hits aunt the Nessa Ado Kodot or Yegon the Hashkinda Ton Lini his aunt at then Ado Kaya Chiladon dan setta a call elahit Beka ichi to Lishik A no Sinigi, Sade Kunk and Hashinity, Kodoba Bahati Ziki, had other Sato in Hika Ye to the Ado Ade Benachin, Beka of Chishik A no Sinigit assured, Obana Ini Ka, Hashin and Ziniki, Sato in Hika and Doja, Ado had Adan Hashin, Babik Hakuiz, Nas what the Shijo, Kodo, Nezdana, He. Adonadina, Hego, hate other in here, in Hatchin, had soup, it's okay, Hinalika, a cat navy, or the chicane of Senegi, a call what ego, Kodo, a Hitch, a house seed, or the door, Adoshin Kodo, in Hatchinen Dinki Shik Akoto, Bahosh Ato, the Adshit up, which Etahol Zito, Lesto, Ado, Koto, Ya Onan Hitish Nidole, Speaker Damon, Ado Kodo, the 24th Navajo Nation Council, President Nez, Vice President Lizer, Kodo Sheet Arnold Squid, oh, Yahan Hidini, Lesto, the God, Histahodo.
Courage eating nigle, katnes at ne bashi chin, hashkan head zohe, a niche, to heglini a nichanale. Ila help tuli do earl tuli a nihama do nihaja. Grace do John help a nihamasana do nihache. Marcella do Willie tuli a nichanale. Nihamasana do nihache do nichanale. Anna all de bestog legendage gige are kehuit tets ili de niharan. Taradin betodal zen nikle yolkai dog iji the chisle bajini bet ado chin nihike. My first teachers were my family. They taught me who I am and where I am from. These teachings gave me a firm foundation to know that I would return to the Navajo Nation after finishing my education. I am thankful for my ancestors who endured many obstacles so I could be here today. I am additionally grateful for the teachers at Window Elementary School, Tehoto Middle School, and Window High School. And I am thankful for the Office of Navajo Nations Scholarship and Financial Assistance, who helped me attain my master's and my PhD, as well as my bachelor's. And I consider it an honor to protect and manage water resources of the Navajo Nation.
Shiba Queetney, the old cat, Yatela, Aquajit ego, had Niniki, Nila, Shamasana Doshanala, the Aquajit ego, but not in Kin, Nila, Benachico, Kea, the Hojigo, Nihil Holt net, the Shitne, Shit, the Nebekea, the Silla, Shitne. Ako all kaashla ar ahindi nish ahirado nehanja all kaasogo nehandeshtar. Nosotros venimos en un mundo diverso donde hablamos diferentes idiomas y estamos aprendiendo diferentes sistemas de conocimiento. Como científico, estamos reuniendo y colaborando con diferentes lugares. I may travel near and far from the Navajo Nation, but it will always be home. The Navajo Nation has invested in me and my education to become one of the few Native American doctors in a STEM field. A special thank you to ANSFA for being a financial supporter to my education. And thank you to all my educators on the reservation, starting with my grandparents, my parents, and my sisters, Crystal and Monique, and also all my other teachers who helped me learn the fundamentals to get me to where I am today. All my life, I've heard my tribal leaders say, come home after obtaining an education.
Speaker, Kellen.
Thank you very much. With that, Kiambige, the floor is yours.
Yes, ya tehnana to les share ya ado staff nikidini to les kodo video gate dasos kidigi ado kodo on hashin and lingi kodo nidia and hije that holds the you know PhD some of us we dreamed of I guess some of us have strived to achieve that particular position and getting that document. These two individuals and what they're doing and coming back to the Navajo Nation and helping their Navajo people. I see Mr. and Mrs. Tooley. Ado bamasan beche benade hit ashibedag hit benedo dit oin hachin and linigi or linigi yati astro yati ya out in the cotton nalo. One of them was helping us with the RDC tour last week, Saton he ka alwa the store a ko ben go kojet twin liniki kaya liniki asing sato benan yosendo sato benan liniki dit el ko ake the nan liniki do hit asing sato yen he ka nalieti I ka nalieti liniki jo e koje hit asing ko age na hasam ka ke honit inki dik go session liniki bin benito dit ai twin liniki saton hit adabet iti da no da ba ya da tio da isi benan se da yosin ko ake as a kodo an hasam kai kini nanigi kodoshi adat isa kodo. I want to know if both of Crystal and Nikki are on the line to briefly provide their actual work with the Navajo Nation and then provide a brief introduction as well. So Nikki or Crystal, are you on the line?
Oh, Delegate Bigay, Yate Benesh and no Thini, Ado Nana, Nihike no Thini. Hihat Key Allen Bigay for this great honor to be able to be recognized for the achievements that we've had in our life with regards to education. I started with Navajo Head Start and continued on through school, going on school on the Navajo Nation. And I am grateful for the educators that we have throughout the Navajo Nation who have continued to teach young children like myself, who have encouraged us throughout the years to attain that education, but also more importantly to our leaders who continue to invest in the future generation by being able to support entities like ONSFA so that we can be able to have scholarships and fellowships to continue throughout the educational paths. Both Nikki and I both attained bachelor's and master's at the University of New Mexico, and I got my PhD at the University of Utah, and Nikki is in her PhD. She's a PhD candidate at the University of Arizona. But one of the things that I'd like to share is that there's an opportunity for those listening on the World Wide Web today to be able to have an understanding that you can be able to help not only the Navajo Nation, the land, but also to help the people. And there are multiple ways to do that now in this unprecedented time. We're seeing how that can be done through the opportunity, through virtual spaces, but also, you know, for me, I came home back to the Navajo Nation. It was always been a desire of mine to return and be a hydrologist or either work at a tribal college to encourage people to go into STEM. But I have the opportunity to be a principal hydrologist with the Navajo Nation Department of Water Resources Water Management Branch. And what that involves as a hydrologist is to be able to, as Delegate Bigay said, to be able to talk with leaders about different challenges that we may have. The drought is a challenge that we're currently experiencing, and mitigation efforts have been done, or continue to be done currently, and are proposed for the future. In addition to that work, I sit on technical committees to assist with water rights so that we can be able to secure our water rights. As a Navajo Nation, we live in a large area, over 27,000 square miles, and there are many issues not only related with water rights, but also thinking about legacy mining issues and the impacts on groundwater and surface water resources as well. So it's important to have an understanding that as we gain these education, we're gaining these tools to be able to help us. And it's important to have an understanding that our identity is a strong part of who we are, and we don't have to choose between, you know, choosing our identity and the culture, the tradition, the language that we have grown up with, and then try to choose something else outside of that, like science. For me, I've had the opportunity to grow up with the education that I did from our grandparents, having an understanding that all water is connected, that water is sacred, and that water is life. And now I have the opportunity to be able to apply that knowledge that I not only gained from my grandparents that were passed down from my ancestors, but also to have the opportunity to include the science that I learned at the different academic institutions that I attended. And I consider it an honor to continue to protect and manage the water resources of the Navajo Nation. Nikki?
Hi, good morning. My name is Nikki Tooley, and I too would just like to share my gratitude for this recognition and for acknowledging the place that I come from Blue Gap, Arizona, and Rock Springs and Twisagay, New Mexico. I'm really appreciative for the teachings and the lessons that I've learned coming from the land, but also from my family that has really instilled in me that yearning to reach for higher education, but also for that yearning to come home after I obtained that education. And so, like Crystal said, we attended Winter Rock Unified School District schooling, but also I went to Cheska boarding school. And one thing that I always like to mention to students is that we have this education system on the reservation that is allowing us to reach for our dreams of becoming whatever we wish to be. And in our case, we desire to become scientists. And so when I speak to the young people on the reservation, that's one thing that I like to let them know is that the tools are available for all of us there in the education systems that we're finding ourselves and growing up on the reservation to help us reach these goals. And I'm really thankful for all the teachers that I have and from at school and at home on the reservation that have given me the fundamentals to get me to where I am today. And so although I might not be living on the reservation like Crystal right now, working with as a tribal employee, I'm still dedicating all of my research and work that I do to the Navajo Nation. I currently am working with NASA on a number of projects using Earth observation and satellite imagery to be able to monitor drought and to be able to look at the status of water resources in that manner. But I'm also a part of a cohort of students at the University of Arizona, which is called IndigiFuse, which looks at the food, energy, water security, and sovereignty nexus, which allows us to be able to focus on communities and families that who are needing water access to quality drinking water. And so how some of the science and engineering background can be used to create nanofiltration systems to bring that possibility of having water closer to home for a number of individuals, of families, and having the opportunity to address some of those issues through the university, but also to be able to be working with a nonprofit like the Howry Foundation, in which further work is addressed in addressing a lot of the water issues and water quality on the Navajo Nation. And so in this way, before I finish my schooling, this is one way that I can give back, just to know that it's always been the goal of my sister and I, but our family as well, because we have another sister who is not a scientist, but also is dedicating her life's work to helping our communities and our people, because that's what was instilled to us, that this will always be home in the land within the 4 sacred mountains. And for the teachings that we have gotten from our family and from our community and from our people is what has been a driving force to help us reach for the goals that we have in this academic setting that I currently find myself in. Thank you.
Speaker, the 24th Navajo Nation Council, President Nez, Vice President Lizer, Chief Justice Kadosh Shade, Joanne Jane, I believe that they deserve a special recognition in achieving their goal and more in how they're going to come back to the Navajo Nation. So I believe you do have the document, Speaker. If you could be able to read that. I neglect to get a copy of that particular document of the recognition. But nonetheless, Kodoshi, whenever they get into Winter Rock, I'll probably deliver the documents to them. But nonetheless, I sincerely appreciate the opportunity for us to acknowledge these 2 young ladies with their achievement. Kodoshi o nos net neje o bekate seeds, so the zenshi be benigni. Ado beja pama. Ado bekane lini, the family lini shin kodo nos net neje dit e kodo a keha nabadish ni do listo. Ado kodo nachachin and linigishi. They'll be a true role model for them to continue with their education. Kodit Ecuador Crystal Tuli Cordova, Nikki Ray Tuli. Again, I thank you Kodo Shanito, one of the chapter, I'm honored to represent. And then in the midst from that community, you have achieved this. I sincerely do appreciate it. Ado Kodoshi eight speaker in Johannash Lado Listo, dit oin Hadasto, Ado Quagin Hitch Deda Silzito, Kodon and Hachin recognize Yaki Hat Nandish in the list. Mr. Speaker, I give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Keon Begay, and thank you very much for the presentation. On behalf of the Navajo Nation Council hereby recognize Cristobal Thule Cordova and Nikki Ray Thule for selfless support to the Navajo Nation and in recognition of successful completing the requirements of recourse of study. We honor the spirit of resilience and the betterment of life demonstrated by your efforts. So granted the 21st day of July in the year of 2021 on this day here in Winter Rock, Arizona. Signed by myself, Seth Damon, Speaker of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, and Honorable Keon Begay Jr. So again, congratulations, ladies, and thank you very much for being part of this morning's recognitions, but most importantly, thank you for coming back to the nation and continuing your work, your efforts, and guiding and helping the Navajo people. So again, from at least the Speaker's office and the great 24th Navajo Nation Council. That, Honorable Keon Begay, thank you very much again for that recognition, and thank you very much, ladies, for being here with us and continuing that effort moving forward. With that, let's go ahead and continue on down. I do have Honorable Amber Kinsbach-Crotty up next. Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Amber Crotty. Madam Chair, Amber Crotty. I guess we can come back to you. Let me move on, continue on down with our recognitions this morning. I do have Honorable Delegate Elmer Begay. Honorable Elmer Begay, good morning. Floor is yours. Honorable Stu. Honorable Elmer Begay. Moving on down to Honorable Stewart now.
Speaker, this is Delegate Crotty.
Okay. If not, let's go ahead and continue on down. I have Honorable Delegate Wilson Stewart Jr. Honorable Stewart, good morning. I think we do have Honorable Stewart, who is here in the chambers in person. Honorable Stewart, the floor is yours at this time. Honorable Stewart, floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, fellow speaker and colleagues of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, President, Vice President, and Madam Chief Justice Shema, Joanne Jane, Aron, the community members and Althinigi, this morning for recognitions again. So with that, I have a group I would like to recognize, and this group is, if you are watching our social media, my social media, this group rode with me last week. We started from Fort Defiance, going into Blue Canyon, going from Blue Canyon into Sawmill, ending that first day. And that was Thursday. Then the next day, Friday, we went from Sawmill into White Clay to Meltwater to Crystal, ending in Crystal. And then the following day, we went from Crystal into Navajo, then the back road to Red Lake, through Red Lake, ending in Fort Defiance. And then on Sunday, we went from Fort Defiance and then came into Window Rock. But these young boys and girls and these ladies and gentlemen, they're the ones that were there with me that whole time, from day one that morning, that Thursday morning. And this is something that they looked forward to doing as part of the group and part of the community. And I was really surprised that 2 years ago when they joined me, how small and how young they were, but they were also very interested as well. They liked what they saw, and that's what they told me on this trip, was that they liked what you did, what you talked to the people about the trash in certain areas of where we live. They said we're being picked up. There was not as much trash there, and so they said, well, let's see what our delegate is going to do this year, and let's support him and let's advocate with him as well. So this year, just like Shana Key said, Key Allen Begay, we talked about drought. We're talking about drought. So we talked about that to our community members. We talked about readjustment on grazing permits. We talked about the wild horses, feral horses, however you want to refer to them as. But these young boys are and their grandpa, and also the veterans that I asked to help me. They are here because I didn't have to ask them more than once. In fact, I just asked, do you know anybody wants to ride? And this group was already eager and willing to go. And our youngest rider is 8 years old, and his name is Valerian. And then our oldest rider is my brother-in-law, Floyd Benali, who assisted as well. And then the veterans, we have them here. So I want to give them each a certificate, and we're going to start with our veterans first. But I want to give you all a background of the riders themselves, and why I want to recognize them is because they are so inquisitive and they are willing to learn. And this group here, they kept the motivation going. And they're so easy to get along with, and they were there to help each other and to help myself as well, and to look out for each other as well, and to even say, let's go to that house. There's a vehicle there, So we went there and we would drop off there and visit with the community members, and it was fun. We rode in the rain. We had different individuals do speeches for us in the morning and prayers in the morning. And that's what they thought about. And I really commend this group of mine for doing this for 2 years in a row, and to help me as their leader. And I've always said that I've always been an advocate of youth and our veterans as well. And so I want to say appreciation to them. So that's why I asked to give them recognition at this time, as well as our elders too at this time as well. Just this morning, and knowing that today, as town council, our colors are white, recognition of our elders as well. But also our youth, I think, because, in the age group in between, because, we all work together. We all need to work together. And this is one thing that we pride ourselves on is in our horsemanship. And the veterans here, the 3 veterans here, they work together. They help other veterans with and they also help the local ranchers as well with rounding up cattle, working on cattle, and working with horses. And this group does that, and they come in and they work with each other to make other veterans work with them, not make them work with them, but help them in their struggles and what they every day are dealing with. As a veteran, they try to be there to support them and to give them that guidance. And they are really open to not just one denomination, but to all beliefs and cultures, and so that's one thing that I liked to learn about them. And I also said that during this time I would be there for them as well, to be their council delegate and to advocate with them as well as their leader, to help support them in their endeavors in the future. So with that, we're going to go ahead and present them. I'm sitting at my chair right now, so speaker and staff, do I just go up there? Okay. Put my mask back on. And then so the first one we'll give to Louise Mark Chanella. Okay. And Chanella, this is for your service to our country, accompanying Honorable Delegate Stewart during the 24th Navajo Nation Council Ride for 2021 Summer Session Trail Ride. And again, signed by myself and speaker. And we'll go ahead and present that to you, Chanella. And then thank you very much for your service as well, Nali, and for all the work that you do within the community, Chanella. And Wes James. Again, the council hereby recognizes your service to the country and then accompanying me as well. Again, I didn't have to ask you, without hesitation, you came all the way out from Sanders to assist me in that way. And I really do appreciate it, Wes, and also for your service to the nation as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Billiman, Elroy Billiman, who, again, for your recognition again to the service and accompanying myself and the writers from all 4 communities and the community that you represent, Sawmill as well, and for your service and dedication as well, and also being one of our Purple Heart veterans, Elroy, and knowing you for a number of years. So thank you for your time and helping us out.
Thank you, Delegate. Appreciate it.
Okay, Garrick Shee. I didn't see him. He didn't come in, huh? Let me see here. Floyd is not here. Ted's not here. Casey is not here, right? Ambrose is not here. Bryson? Bryson. Okay, Bryson. Again, this is for your participation in accompanying me as your council delegate to the council chambers through the weekend that we rode. And again, you and your horse, I do appreciate your time and helping us out and doing what you can. Thank you, son. Valerian, this is the one I was telling you guys about. This is our little guy. He also won, speaker, a bag of grain from one of the community leaders. So Valerian, this is your certificate, okay? So you can hang it up in your room or get a frame for it. So thank you, son, for joining us. And he's just started riding recently too, speaker. He's never been on a horse before. Thomas. TJ. This is their uncle. And again, Thomas, again, for joining me the second year, thank you very much. Kiana. Again, this is your first time joining me on this one, huh? Last year you were just a little girl following us around. So thank you. And your horses as well. Was it Neptune? Okay. Oh yeah, Louise is the one that rode Neptune. And then Kyler. He's not here? Kyler didn't come in? Okay. Denise. Okay. Denise, thank you. Being there with me all the way through, following me to the houses, meeting with the group, talking with the group, my brother-in-law. Thank you very much for your time and taking time out from work as well to be with us. Internet. Again, thank you for joining me again, second year. And again, you've always ridden bareback. I always see you being riding bareback. You're always riding one of the green horses that you guys are training too. So thank you, son. And good luck with your school. And then TJ, up top. Is that you again? Okay. And I think I missed one for Mr. Leslie. Yeah, Leslie. That's why I didn't get. But I will get that one, Leslie, for you. But thank you. And Leslie is the grandpa and the father to these guys here. And he's always there with them, hauling the horse trailer, supporting them and helping them out. But Speaker, this is the group from Northern District 18. I thank you for recognizing them in their second year and helping me. Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Yeah. For your Stewart in that effort. Yeah. Thank you. Shout out. Oh, here we go. Thank you again very much, Honorable Stewart, you and your riders there, and thank you very much from District 14 for coming in. It's a great opportunity to learn and thank individuals who help support and lead our kids into a direction that can help out not only the welfare of the nation, but also help heal and comfort our animals too as well. So it's a great opportunity for a recognition like that. With that, caller team, Stuart, thank you very much for being with us here this morning. I'm going to go on down to Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Wanika, I know is a recognition that you wanted to do this morning. So, Mr. Wanika, I'll turn the floor over to you at this time.
Thank you, Speaker, for providing me this time to do recognition, and I really appreciate this. Although I'd like to express my appreciation to all those that are listening in or have tuned in to witness this recognition. You're probably wondering if how many contestants there is for Miss Navajo, and there's going to be 4, and but because all the fairs and all the festivities for the different events that usually take place during the fairs, that's all been canceled. So this is going to be pretty much virtual. Within the large lindo late, she could only check that one snito late. She Edison Wanika in Seattle and Slinike exchange not haba buses chain. Dokia on it as a chedo to the chain in the Chanel. I don't let hot so St. Michael's, other Bashana Stato, Pleasant Oak Springs, other Nakigo Ashanatli, but was other Bashananish instant. I could buy here Winston, I could do that. Ani, it all negligation they are and adole as far as there is usually a lot of people that used to come out to witness the contestant go through different events. But for this year, because there's not going to be a fair, I don't know, it's going to be, it's probably going to be just as good for the contestants, but for the people to witness, to be there, that's where it's going to be kind of hard. But this pandemic has really put a lot of things in a way that it's sometimes hard for us. And it's really good to get together and to witness a lot of these things, but it's not going to be there this year. di kat nakha hit can lenigi chanting pairs to ek anak kipanaha di Miss Navajo lo. Beninage ya di yego di ni tan ni big eight hit ni ako benina dina khaya ta khuta ta kil na sa da bo na za da sli ako ibn na shay do khodo tona sadat when did Aslana Habinane dot Astro no Hutalia. A kundi Yat la dot the Yat Elbanan Shila, a Koba Quinson, a Kokoni Tahonda Taho, the Allah, Dini Tanashni that Yan and that Niho, and that has taken a con president, Tadaka, it's a Yat Elbanan, she saw a Hunza Holges. As under at Leona Dado, they say at the Bohnet Zada Yosen. With in the Kuroshi that Hashin so I Hanna nature to Lehi Landa at Leho. A Koheshi Naha Bananishina Leto Lehi Miss Navajo. A Koti Jatla, a Koation Kurotic at the Shandin Parish, Kudo Yen Hilkanet or Lehi de Jehigi. Adoshin Han so in Hilisha in Leto. A Kudo, but each Atolis. Shandin, you have the floor to go ahead and introduce the 4 contestants.
Oh, I hear Shinat Edison Winika Beshbasa Anna. Yeah, it's Speaker Damon Adol Beshbasa Anna Adol. Yeah, it's Bene Shikado Shidina Cherokee Ani Adona and Shlingo Dol Bashes Chin Squid Cheating Edasha Chates Kabaha Edashanella Shandin Parashina Sha Adol. Twitter dead nasha not as on tanto then a hoto dance to shake adol hey then a hoto de today I'm butchering with our student youth employees at Denahoto chapter, so I'm very honored to be here with all of you to take a moment to introduce our contestants for the 69th Miss Navajo Nation pageant. I believe the contestants are online. I know our time is limited, so I will give the time over to contestant number 1. Contestant number 1.
Yat bene ala soshik edosh dine ado not anita no she ekin the cheating nishle dash cheating bashichin but ahni dashe do my education dashanella she egypty shannon pete yanisha Sensad I used to nasha kad yatel whatzanet shagan doshanadnish. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gypsy Shanapi. I am contestant number 1 for the 69th annual Miss Navajo Nation pageant.
Gypsy Adol, contestant number 2.
Gat Shikedo Shidene do not ani nahalinigi she Shandin Hayasik Yazi Nisha. Ashihinishne eka bashichin kochi dashiche yome dene dashanale akuchit ego shidene do akimo oatum do yome a son in the shlan nadine ashklat shinache I see de nebebe has ani be buhotish ado dene bebe has ani egi be hoche ho zi dolel ado shikon nihe de neba kadesh would beniya Shineya ako de shaho ahagi shizado heha I see a heha bedishni dole heha akode.
Oh, Ahiaha Shadeja Shandin Adol, contestant number 3.
Yat Bene Speaker Damon, 24th Navajo Nation Council, President and Vice President of the Navajo Nation. Adot anot so shida isinot adot danikin na Tashi Shamasana doesha che danotle, Shanala danotle, Shamadosh jeshi danotle. Shahas twi doshi danotle shizani slashi danotle. A kobedak egit awe yat benini hidini dole. She ya Niagara Bridge she, Kia ani nishle, Ashkahatsohobashis chin, Nakadine dasha che, Tohane dashanale. Tellan telegai aha. Well, yeah, dodge is a K a condebeg about Hudson, ade on Nasha asto ade eshnala kedahat. Nadina ke and nache, Shmadosh je Debra dogeri rock with Dolia. She Navajo but in Yendi Jehiki, Hakon S is an inky Asia or Head Nikitini do let not on in your best but as an nothing. Distant don they naskon Nijin and Jonakon hidden but adole hashed at that dol nito beni Yehigi hollow a call Najanagon Hinan should that dot least a head. Okay, Shadeja, Niagara, contestant number 4.
هلا أنا شك دوش دنا يات شيء أشكال عايشة ينشيا نهست هذا شناخة تنزاني نشلة أكاد الناس تشانغو سو باشين دوا دشنل كي أني دشتشي تغاخد زن ناشاش مثلا دشتشي شنل هستين دوش شنل هستام كأتا ما
It's too crowded over at our house in Santa Fe.
Ordell Iron Shell Julia. بالحاجة إيا أشكلا تا شتى أداد دو دلتشنا دو دلتشديجة إيا أشنا أريسو جوليا أكوت إيغو دين إنشلي هيه
Okay, thank you, Shika. Well, we're really excited for this year's pageant. It'll be virtual for the public from September 6th to September 10th. That's Monday through Friday. It begins on Labor Day. We'll have all of our usual categories and to main and following the Navajo Nation Health Department's orders to keep our event under 25 people in person, but we're working with the Navajo Nation TV and film to make it virtual for everybody else. Thank you so much for giving us the time this morning to share with you our new contestants this year.
Ikela o lake huintandide yat ehoshi adat ostito kodo shandim pairs ice in Chicago and Schneedle ado yat eho ikodo nanashin sona kinache ado da hashin sod ice yego ba he nitsandi the never which I can't but no way put on handile a call by he huintan yego kodo pensi zero kodo hashin so yego ni kanalo a kohon so she da iliado le so that is not age ashen not dire enda il height ashen da later le a kodi kada da il night ashen sandal kito le hashin so ye khata hom na do le fishi ani iglesia olzen do le a kohon so da iliado le kodo I don't could speak with us by Kens and put out in Hanahosa, put out in a nation deal in so Kodoshin asked so that the nature had it or lick.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Wanika, and thank you very much to the contestants. And good luck, ladies. Seems like we have 4 contestants this year for Miss Navajo, and I know that working together with the Office of Miss Navajo and working together as a team there in an effort, we look forward to a great pageant this year, even though it says it might be totally virtual, but that's going to be one experience. You might have more viewers across the world like that too as well. You never know. So again, thank you very much to all the individuals on the line, and thank you very much for being here with us. And good luck again, ladies. Yeah. With that, colleagues, let me go ahead and go on down. I got moving on down to Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So is here to recognize, and he's here in the chambers with us this morning. Good morning, Honorable Eugene So. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The shared our speakers to come on. Because someone's arguing that you can't have it. Koro head ara pahatsi. Where the dolls in Joe, you see, when you Koho, Har is in way to Kedahanot, any do, home Kedahanot, any do, Hana, say you, this sheet ha, great ha. A Hanan, do Ashina, in Shirini, do Kodo. Rudi, pizza na Jenny. Head out a Yat eho, Nika another weapon nothing. Overseeing the Navajo Nation veterans and their family, never leaving one behind. You're being the eyes, the ears, and the voice that is to be recognized by our community. To accumulate appreciation, Peterson's comrade. No words to use to recognize the hard work 24/7 you're doing for the veterans, Navajo veterans. I see child is those I don't that he does need oh yeah honey zing I believe my husband. He not zaro con hit hana ra con cat and underwater. It didn't eat our project. For one behind tra I don't that there that eggy. Juan his business has angle to crossing out and zag. Come back and did it. I don't home constant but oh you that shit been Texas that's it. Could out of paper cat and underwater. Be as a year go here. I don't know. So the zen that be as a year paper cat or the Kodoti, the veterans. That the Yado Diego cat 2008. I don't know. Cushy beta. Acid the Hadesh Hotits at Honich Tailsa. This chant did could I in the husk. Could I believe our husband? Could on him mother, Nizia, and he changed him my son. Kitchenadi. I don't go in it. Now I'm 13. I thought to now come. Shall we? I don't know what I'm doing. I know I don't outcome. Could I aid up getting eat out of us channel? We yet and that crash up. Could I could have been much equal? And now those things are could not so. Navajo Nation Council, hereby recognized Commander, Chief, Commander of Navajo Nation Veterans Organization, Pete Sinarjini, for selfless devotion to the safekeeping of the health of the Navajo people during the global pandemic. We honor and the spirit of collaboration and public service demonstrated by your effort with the Chinese Agency Veterans Organization to grant this 21st day of July in the year of 2021 here in Winnerup. Russian speaker, she is little. But I could on hotel yard of leg on the car on the walkie. So yeah, never caught on the walkie. I know you're there now. There's a funeral. The non Shinan Graven icon. What I have been now. I can't hide yard. What I could recognize me, Charlotte. Sir, thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'll sign it. Thank you very much for that wonderful recognition, Honorable Eugene So, and thank you very much for the efforts and coordinating that too as well. I know that Mr. Simjian has been the commander there with the Veterans Organization, and I hope to know that continue his work there. With that, colleagues, let's go ahead and continue on down with our recognitions this morning. It's a beautiful day here in Window Rock, Arizona. We're not taking that for granted. We're here in the People's Chambers. I did call upon Madam Chair Amber Crotty, but before, Madam Chair, are you on the line now?
Good morning, Speaker. I apologize. I was having some technical issues, but thank you for the time.
Go ahead, Madam Chair. The floor is yours at this time.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to thank my colleagues this morning for your beautiful recognition of your constituents and of our people. It really demonstrates the strength that we have here on our nation, the resiliency, the passion, and it also balances our conversation in the council chamber, where sometimes we're forced to talk about some of the most challenging issues, but there's also light in that darkness. And so I want to thank all of the delegates and all of the our community members and relatives who've been recognized. This morning, Speaker, I have the honor of recognizing a dynamic team of awesome advocates at the Utah Navajo Health System. They have pulled together, with the support of the board, a community-based governance system with their behavioral health team, and they have just grown their advocacy program to really meet the needs of what's happening there in the community, but also recognizing there's limitation and taking on the challenge to expand their services. And so I think at this point, as we walked with Ella May's niece yesterday, there's a severe shortage of victim advocates here on the Navajo Nation, and the role that they can play to assist our law enforcement with communication, with compassion, bringing in that healing element as they deal with some of the most traumatic experiences of their life. And so I just want to defer the time over to the advocates to introduce themselves, because I strongly believe that we have the power within to solve our problems and challenges here in our community. And I appreciate these young Navajo women for stepping up and being very, public servants and helping community members restore themselves. And our goal is to prevent violence in our communities. And when it happens, that we provide the services that they need to get back on that healing journey. So, Speaker, if you could allow, and the technicians there, I'd like to start off with Jessica Holiday and Lynn Bia. And if you can introduce your team and tell us more about your FBI award and the work that you have done and how this council can continue to support victim services on Navajo Nation. Yeah, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Have that. Floor is yours.
Yate, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, Yate. Shaylin Baya Yinsha. Ashihan Shlama Dishki, Bashin Tachine, Dashanella, Abitahne Dashiche. A Yisana Shahada Iran Rock, Arizona. Got Shaganish Inige, Shaganiki Ashibrat, New Mexico. Although Nashnishike Monazima Creek, so every day she's not a war, non Nishbania. Although Utah Navajo Health System, RGA Nashnish, UNHS, Behavioral Health Department, Victim Advocate, although Domestic Violence Housing Coordinator, so Aja going on 8 years. I'm mainly stationed in Montezuma Creek Yishin office. There's 4 advocates. They'll introduce themselves. There's Tanya Grass, myself, Danielle Whitehat, Otto Jessica. What's all being a victim advocate. We work with domestic violence, sexual assault, the missing people, aggravated assault. Don't let chinyaja wayas don't lay as a masando a change. All Crime-related, the service area that we cover is the Navajo Nation Utah Strip site. The Blanding, Navajo Mountain, Montezuma, Autonomous Valley. That's the area that we cover as advocates between us four. Although we have an online system that we have 24/7 to help our victims in need. Navajo Nation, Shiprock PD, Kayenta PD, San Juan County, Blanding, U.S. Marshals, criminal investigators, FBI, social service, numerous agencies, and their shelters, a lot of agencies that we work with. Although on here, we transport our victims to a safe place, which is the hotel if they need it, or shelter services. On here, we drive them hours to get help. We drive them hours to get to safety. We set a safety plan. They nasha the cushy years that as long as they want help, that's how far we go to. Though all just for a few minutes, just for a few hours, we go above and beyond for these victims to help them. We figure out things, even though there's barriers, there's a lot of red flags, there's a lot of entities that we service, how do we say it? A lot of stuff that we come across, but we figure it out between us four. Our supervisor, Rick Hindi, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be advocates. He's really supportive of the community. So I had to our boss. And the FBI award was last week, Wednesday. They nominated from the state of Utah for us advocates to, it's a FBI Community Leadership Award. It was held in Washington, D.C., but due to COVID, they gave us an option to have it at the clinic or have it at the headquarters in Salt Lake. So Ashibila, we can do it, let's have it at the clinic. Why did we choose the clinic? Because we work with law enforcement, we work with criminal investigators, we work with the nurses, the doctors, so we decided to have it there and invite agencies that we work closely with regarding cases. But now we decided to have it there. It's all over social media. If you want to read into it, it's UNHS's website as well. An overcome and outview of the award ceremony. And we are extremely excited. To this day, we still are. It's a great, we didn't know that there's agencies out there that are looking up to the job that we do. So we do appreciate the FBI nominating us for this award. It's a prestigious, huge award. So we can get a call in the middle of the night, 2, 3, 4, 5, regarding victims that are needing services, that are needing help. So as of right now, we do have an advocate on call from Monday through next Monday. Every week we rotate between us four. So we always have somebody on call and somebody available to help these victims. So for inviting us. Jessica, Tanya, Danielle, if you have anything to say, go ahead.
Yeah, Shay Jessica Holiday Inishia, Tachi Inishia, look at Dina Bashishin, Ligano Dashiche, Todichini Dashinella. Pronouns are she, her. I am from Sebi Nidziskai, Monument Valley, Utah. I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Family and Human Development and a minor in American Indian Studies at Arizona State University. And I just earned a MFA degree in creative writing from the Institute of American Indian Arts this past May. My previous work experience in the social and human services field has included working as a family advocate at a Head Start program. I currently work as a victim advocate in the behavioral health department at UNHS. And it's just an honor to work in the victim advocacy field on the Navajo Nation, to work with and for my people. And thank you, Navajo Nation President and Vice President, Chief Justice Joanne Jane, and the 24th Navajo Nation Council for recognizing the UNHS victim advocacy program at this 2021 summer session. Yahet to Honorable Delegate Crotty and Honorable Delegate Nate Brown for all of the amazing work you do for our nation. Yahet for advocating for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence, and for the work you do in preventing human trafficking. It's an honor to work with you, and I look forward to continuing to expand services for victims across the Navajo Nation. Yahet.
My name is Tanya Grass. I'm a victim advocate with Utah Navajo Health System. I've been a victim advocate for Utah Navajo Health System for 3 years. I have prior experience working with troubled youth and also working in a behavioral in criminology from Dixie State University, and currently pursuing my master's degree in criminal justice with Grand Canyon University. This experience working as a victim advocate has been an experience, and we learn something new every day. We work with patients all the way from being on scene, all the way through investigation, all the way through prosecution, through the court system. We're there with them throughout this whole thing, and it's an honor to be working with them and helping them through this process. And we're hoping to expand our services very soon to the rest of the Navajo Nation, because we know this is something that is needed on the Navajo Nation. Plenty of barriers, jurisdiction issues that we face that we would like to share with the rest of the Navajo Nation what works for us. And so thank you, everybody on this call, listening in and giving us this time to recognize what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, Council, and for the advocates at Utah Navajo Health Systems. We are trying to expand victim services, survivor services across the Navajo Nation. And so we were excited last week to reopen the Gentle Ironheart Shelter. And we know that that shelter is in honor of our 2 Navajo children who were murdered. And so that is part of the healing component, Speaker, that we're trying to provide services and restore our families. So everyone out there who has dealt with a trauma, has been victim of violence, we believe you, we're here to help you, and we want to be part of your healing journey. So thank you, Speaker and Council, for your support. And we know in speaking with the families, like of Elder Ella May, that we have to support law enforcement, supporting services so that our communities feel safe. Thank you, Speaker, and my colleagues here on the line. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you very much for the heartfelt recognition to the advocates there at the Utah Navajo Health Systems Advocacy Center, Ms. Baya, Ms. Grass, Ms. Holiday, and Ms. Whitehat. Thank you very much. Not only to open your doors, but open your minds and your hearts to working with our Navajo people, particularly the ones that need it the most, whether they be going through domestic violence issues or homeless issues or victims of sexual assault. As indicated in your presentation, the efforts not only led by Madam Chair Amber Crotty and Honorable Nathaniel Brown led the way to opening up the doors on human trafficking and recognizing nationally on missing and murdered Indigenous women movement, and most importantly, understanding that it's okay to talk about sexual assault, and it's okay to learn and grow and heal yourself from that. And in moving forward with that, we thank you, advocates, for what you do every day out there in the front lines in order for you to help heal not only our people, but our relatives and other communities too as well that need that assistance. So again, thank you very much, Madam Chair, for that recognition this morning. And thank you to the advocates, and congratulations on your work and your effort being nationally recognized by the FBI and moving in the great direction that you are doing. So again, yeah, for being what you do and continue to do on a daily basis there for our Navajo people. With that, colleagues, let's go ahead and continue on down. I know we have about 15 minutes before we're mandated to get back into session here. We have a great honor in this next presentation to be blessed upon with dignitaries and a special recognition this morning, as we have the Cherokee Nation that's here with us in the Navajo Nation Council Chambers. Welcome, Yate Bene, and thank you very much for being here with us. We do have the Speaker of the Cherokee Nation, Mr. Joe Bird, who also is a former chairman, or in this case, chief of the great nation of the Cherokee Nation. And it's a great understanding to know that Mr. Speaker Joe Bird, as he's continuing his leadership now as colleagues. He was one of the very first principal chiefs there at the Cherokee Nation, who was multilingual in not only the Cherokee Nation language, but also in the English language. And that's something that is amazing. For the first time in almost 200 years, revitalization of your traditional language is something that we as a great Navajo Nation are working towards too as well. And we thank you for visiting us. I don't know if you're on your way to Res or if you're on your way back, but we usually have individuals always stopping by during these events. But we thank you very much for being here with us, Mr. Bird. And I know that you helping out with a lot of different organizations, whether that be through the N7 organization with No Tibigay III, or other organizations through our partners in New Mexico, like Governor Bill Richardson has helped out, leading to access of not only better options for our youth, but most importantly, building an advocacy nationwide. As we know, I can probably say it today that maybe the Navajo Nation is probably the largest nation in the United States now. Yeah, we'll see what the discussion that Mr. Speaker says here before us. But two working nations, I can honestly say we are the largest indigenous nations in the world here today. Collectively, with the Cherokee Nation and Navajo Nation, you can honestly say we have 1 million indigenous people just from two tribes. And it's an honor, it's a great blessing for you to be here with us. My name is Seth Damon. I'm the Speaker of the 24th Navajo Nation Council on Bataki. That's my mother's clan. Welcome to the Great Navajo Nation Council Chambers. If you've never been here before, I have 24 of our colleagues that sit in these in the chambers. I have Honorable Paul Begay, who represents the Chi'i area, beautiful area. You see it in the monuments of Antelope Point, Lake Powell. That's where he comes from. I have Honorable Stewart, who is here to recognizing here. He lives up the street in Fort Defiance, a beautiful valley up there in the middle of the Navajo Nation. And then I have Honorable Edison Winika in the back there as well, who represents a beautiful valley there from St. Michael's all the way down to I-40 through Oak Springs, Hunters Point, and down that area. But we say welcome here, Speaker Bird. And we say welcome to the nation. It's a great honor for you to visit with us here this morning. As indicated, we know that you have traveled a long way in order to be here. And we know that it's a great honor for you to come and spread some good words. And I'd love to turn the floor over to you at this time if you want to come up here, speaker, and make sure that we can go ahead and move forward a avenue of what we can do to infuse harmony, but most importantly, really try to indulge in some camaraderie. So again, thank you very much for visiting us, but most importantly, thank you very much for bringing your staff and coming to the Great Navajo Nation this morning. So without further ado, I gotta go ahead and turn the floor over to you at this time, Speaker, right here.
CEO Nigada, Lihelis Kosanale, Hanjozi Luxig, Joji Style, Dawenjos the Dana, Lawan. It's a great honor to be here first at the Council of the Navajo Nation. And it is a great nation. You know, you're the largest tribe in the United States, and we acknowledge that. Over 25 years ago, we were in Albuquerque, and we had a discussion on sovereignty. And there was Wendell Chino there, and there was Albert Hale there, and there was Brian Wallace there. There were several tribal leaders there, and we talked about why we can't work together more as sovereign to sovereign. And we shouldn't let borders, we shouldn't let the waters keep us apart. And as I sit here and watch this, it seemed like it's a dream come true 25 years ago. Indi Ostanik, Oklahoma deal Yomni Losa, Astan, Yostali Heli, Hanzo Stedan, Oscom National, and how get Yomnedo. Wherever we go, me and my brother here, Rob Darty, yeah, he comes with me wherever we go because he speaks the language as well. And he was a teacher at Haskell College there. So it's good when you can travel long distance, when you can communicate in your own language. That makes the trip go well. But we talked about having working with a treaty, and years ago, over 25 years ago, like I stated. But yes, the speaker mentioned the RES conference. We did. We had flights to go to RES. We were all excited, and then we had that small surge hit again. I said we can drive to Albuquerque, and Window Rock is not that far. So that's what we decided, and we've been treated with really good hospitality. The food that the people cook here, the Navajo women, it's just second to none. As a matter of fact, my friend doesn't want to go back. I said, well, you got to get back and mow your lawn because we do have grass back home we have to take care of. But what we came up with is this is the first anniversary of the McGirt decision back home, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with law enforcement. We're dealing with cross-deputization. And the council just recently, and I sponsored that bill there, $35 million towards law enforcement and do cross-deputization. And I think a year ago, we had filed 50 cases in the McGirt decision down. And as of today, we've filed over 1,300 cases. That's what McGirt has done. Actually, it's restored our jurisdiction in our land that we always knew that was ours. But when you have the Supreme Court of the United States, 9 non-tribal members say, this is your reservation, this is your land. We take that to heart. That means now we've got work to do back home. And it's been a precedent for a lot of other tribes for us to come here. Let's help each other out as tribes, and let's let sovereign lead the way. Because when we heard about Navajo children needing shoes, that we had that little snowfall there, little back home, it was large here, that kids couldn't get access to shoes. The shoes are the very essential part of a young child going to school and feeling good about themselves. And you guys know when you were growing up how we were. If you had good, we call it wheels. If you had good wheels, well, you held your head up high. Your step was a little bit higher. And now, when I heard that, I went, those are the basic needs of kids there, of one of our sovereign allies there. And like I said before, when one sovereign hurts, we all hurt. And so we took notice of that. And so we had some special funds with the Cherokees and said, why don't we just ante up And you know, let's put some smiles on some young kids' faces, because look how far we've come in 25 years. You know, we've gone from really being difficulty to even survive. You know, the Navajos had the long walk. We had the Trail of Tears. And if our ancestors can do that, look what we can do today. You know, we can go Washington, D.C. now and sit across the congressional people. You know, we've got attorneys, we've got doctors, we've got teachers, we've got educated people that can go to the table and negotiate these compromises, and lobbyists that take care of us there at that level. So with that, it's just an honor to be here. And I want to thank you all for making room for us in your busy schedule. I know you got to take care of a lot of people. And we haven't been disappointed one bit, my brother and I, Rob Darty. And you're invited, any of you, to come down. We call it Cherokee Holidays, you know, Labor Day. You know, we have one of the largest powwows there, and I run the powwow, and he's the MC. So you're invited, and we'll see if we can't even come close to how we've been treated as we've been here, you know, for the past few years. So with that, Ozali Heli, it's Ostado, Hiko Higa. Indi Ostan, Mikasana, Ostan, Yela Hans Ostado. Udo Osti, Losti, Costa, Ye, Arsena Kohiga, Ostan, Yela. What I said was, we've come here, we took care of business, we're honored that you opened the door for us. And we'll go back and we'll tell our people, we'll go tell the chief, we'll go tell the council, we'll go tell our aunts and uncles where we were and how we were treated. And, you know, because now it seems like in the last 25 years, we're running someone back home on Main Street. Say, what tribe are you? Cherokee Navajo, Navajo Cherokee. Wow. I said, how did our Cherokees get over here, you know, in Arizona and New Mexico? So they started coming here about 40 years ago when Rob taught school at Haskell. You know, he let some of that happen himself. So we've come a long ways, and we've got some good days ahead of us. So with that McGirt decision, we feel like we've been restored there as a tribe with our reservation, and we're going to utilize that. We're going to leverage that and take care of some things. I'm leaving a rough draft of that discussion we had 25 years ago, like I said, with Chairman Wendell Chino, President Albert Hale, Brian Wallace, and probably others. And it's a draft, and all it talks about is, what would the world think if two of the largest nations representing close to 1 million people came together and talked about how we could help each other out in the area of healthcare, jurisdiction, law enforcement, domestic violence against women. We talked about all of that and helped each other out. There's no reason why we can't. You see mergers all the time with big corporations. We're not a corporation, but we're sovereigns, and we can make that happen. So I'm going to leave a draft, and it is in draft form, and I'm going to leave it with the speaker for the council's consideration. And I'm going to do that when we get back. The council will take a look at that. It's a good thing. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. So with that, I'd like to call the speaker up here and just honor him with a blanket that to Navosto. Wow, you know this, huh? Right here. Yeah, get on that side on that. There you go. With honor.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Speaker Word. Thank you. Yeah. With that, I'd like to repay that offer. You know, when we come here and I seen that you didn't have any Navajo jewelry on.
I know, I forgot it all. I left it all. See, well, when I wasn't going to the res, I went, I don't need this.
Yeah. Well, as you know, we're masters of turquoise and silver here. So I'd like to present you in doing the same, recognizing that, you know, it's a long darted history when your people, our people, in years camaraderie of the past of what we've been doing, working together through our great former leaders, like you said, former President Albert Hale, who we just lost this past year, and a lot of the other presidents, former chairmen too as well,
yes,
you've worked with in the past. But this is just a small token, and you can take this if you want to go ahead. Oh, wow. We'll fix it right there for you. There you go. Now, now they probably give you another say of mutton stew down there. The flame mark chick.
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much,
Council.
and we really thank you very much, sir. Keep going and keep. If you're his bodyguard or his driver, or if you're his Cherokee co-talker, it seems like that. We thank you very much, and we will look forward to that. I know that there's a lot of our delegation here who's looking to really try to adapt and really try to say, how can we work together as sovereign nations and advocate for each other and really try to say, how can we move forward in that direction? So again, thank you very much for visiting the Navajo Nation, and safe travels on your way back home, and safe travels on your way through Indian country. If there's any other places that you guys are stopping, for being here with us too as well. With that, I'll go on it. Hi, colleagues. Thank you very much, everyone. That does conclude our presentation this morning of our recognitions. We are going to go ahead and continue on in the effort. The time now is 9:57 a.m. We'll go ahead and get things going. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. Oh, it looks like we have some former representatives in the chambers too as well. We have former delegate Honorable Roscoe Smith here with us. Good morning, representing Fort Defiance, Navajo Sawmill area. We have former delegate Honorable Tom Chi here with us too as well. Good morning, representing Shiprock area. Thank you very much for being here with us, delegates, former delegates. Again, everyone, thank you for these recognitions. Thank you to everyone that's been on the line this morning. We appreciate everything that you've done and continue to move forward and advocate for the nation. Again, have a good day. Have a blessed week, and most importantly, safe travels out there, and please stay safe. I'll go in it.